Wolters Kluwer is a global enterprise providing information technology and services in almost every vertical. Their health division provides evidence-based solutions for clinicians, patients, researchers, and students in effective decision-making and outcomes across healthcare. Talend is at the center of their ecosystem, and Kevin's BI team is really thinking outside the box.
So probably 80% of my work over the course of a year is in support of our sales organization to provide predictive analytics around opportunities. So we network with our GMs to find out their business goals. So we kind of negotiate all those pluses and minuses and then work through product by product to provide recommendations on this is the best, these are the list of the best opportunities that we from the BI team feel are the highest likelihood to close. And so it's about shortening the sales process for a sales rep, and using business intelligence, leveraging great data to make those recommendations. So that's really where we're having our biggest impact. I will say that where things are heading is some pretty interesting areas around product development. So using analytics as a feature, playing back to a medical researcher, the current trends. What are the keyword searches that are being used by region, by institution, by author? When you combine all that data together, there is some really brilliant insight into what the emerging trends are in the medical research field. Scratching the surface on combining usage data of our various products with patient outcome data and finding some just really amazing insights into the impact of using our products, the impact that usage has on patient outcomes, which is remarkable to have, a remarkable story to tell.
So I noticed that in a recent conversation, you were mentioning the two pillars, of your work with respect to data, right? And one was ad hoc, right? And the other was strategic, as you labeled it. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit more about those two aspects of your work and how it informs your organization, your workflows.
So our ad hoc work is really about helping provide data solutions to stakeholders. So things like how many oncologists do we have in North America? Over the last 90 days, who has viewed this particular journal most? So it's really the basics of kind of first order analytics that doesn't require a ton of expertise, but just, again, the state of our data, that the resources of the skill set of our stakeholders. It just warrants someone from my team to spend 15 or 20 minutes answering the mail on something like that. Where that work becomes problematic is when there's 10, 15 to 20 minute requests per day, when quarter ends or where we're trying to make numbers, where it starts to become, problematic. The strategic work is more, that's where I spend the majority of my time. I spend a great deal of time just sort of networking with my colleagues that are the GMs of the various business lines, our CEO, CFO, to really find those, that intellectual splinter in their head that's like, if I only knew a little bit more about retention, or I knew a little bit more about price sensitivity. That's the stuff that we spend. That's measured on the order of months as opposed to days. And it really, it's a very differentiated split between the work that my team does.
Can you tell us a bit more about that disruption?
Disruption occurs when one of our stakeholders complains because of visualization, the usage has dropped to 0. That's disruption that we have to walk through. Or something like, we expect updated purchase information by 5 o'clock on a Friday, and we missed that week's data. So that's problematic, and that requires us to kind of manually intervene. So it's about capacity, right? If I have 12 data engineers, and 3 of those engineers are spent every week answering, with some surge capacity, I will say, answering ad hoc data requests. That's really what it's what it's costing me. It's time my brilliant engineers have to spend doing the work that is basic technically, but still critical to the operations of our business. That should be clear. This is legitimate work.
Sounds like you have an initiative around reaching out and involving your colleagues,
right,
right, on a certain level. Could you elaborate on that?
So the citizen analyst idea is about finding those individuals that have that curiosity to say, why did I cut? Rather to do the after action, right? To do those after action thoughts. What are the lessons learned for why in this particular? If I look at this particular customer and I look at every piece of data that I have on them over the last year, why did they decide not to renew my product? If an individual had some data at their fingertips to supplement, or they could dig a little deeper into data and not involve me and my team, because it's bigger than just this binary back and forth. Because I think beyond, and I think there's value to the enterprise beyond just my team not having to, write SQL queries and email CSV files out. I think that there's a culture of curiosity that could be really fostered by more people touching data and using data to support all level of decision making.
It sounds like this enabling the citizen analyst is really transformational from that point of view.
It is, because it's not just technology, right? It's cultural. It's convincing a non-technical organization that it doesn't take technical skills to do this. It just takes curiosity. There's some skills that they're some change in the way they do their job that'll be apparent, but it's really about creating culture of curiosity that can find things in the data that are of value. That's really what it's about, and that is transformational. That's way beyond just pivoting to a new technology or pivoting to a new methodology. That's cultural. I think that there's just a catalyst that'll be there, because if you can answer your own questions, then the dominoes are going to start tripping, right? Then that's the second question, the third question that you find in the data you're going to be able to answer on your own, and you're going to answer them before anybody asks them of you, which is really what great analysis is about. Is thinking about the problem at hand, but then the problems you didn't know you even had.